Hi guys, while I was learning to learn new things, maybe about artificial intelligence or maybe digital marketing, whatsoever, I am trying to go into social media to learn things like YouTube or maybe other platforms. And I was finding it very, very overwhelming to actually learn because there's a lot of content, and sometimes we consume 2 hours of content to just uh, s- get value of 20 minutes. So this question was like intriguing me, and I thought we should get answers for this, and I set up a brainstorming session with the club members to figure out what all they do actually to learn things from internet. Then we could come up, like, we did a 1.5 hour brainstorming session, and we could come up with 13 key takeaways how actually they learn things. So if you want to know those 13 key takeaways, watch this. So first thing is following people who are experts in the specific field. So we need to follow people who are experts in the specific field. Then you're consciously consuming content from them instead of trying to consume content from everyone. Follow few specific guys. Like if you want to know about SEO, follow Neil Patel on maybe YouTube, maybe on Twitter and all, and you start consuming his content. And then second one is purchasing and pursuing courses. This is one thing most of the people are actually suggesting because they feel like if you know there's a worthwhile course, better purchase that so that it's a shortcut to learning. You can actually um speed up your learning instead of doing a lot of YouTubing. So I'm also recently pursuing some courses. For example, I have took up a AI course, and I took up YouTube course. Then I took up an Instagram course as well. And this is interesting. One of the club member told that like Google News is one of the areas they try to consume content because the Google actually suggest things which matter to us because Google knows a lot about us, so it is able to show content which we might be interested in. So I was ignoring this thing. I was not paying attention to Google News, but I think from now I'll try to consume content from Google News. Then the fourth point is listening to YouTube. Listening to YouTube is an interesting concept. Like, let us say I know a channel which they do podcast kind of a thing, or a discussion, or maybe directly one person is speaking. So if you want to watch YouTube, then you'll not be able to do anything else. But listening to YouTube, you can also do something parallelly. Like you can walk, like I do, walking on the terrace and listen to YouTube. Just use the headphone. My phone is on the stand, and I use the headphone, and I just keep walking and I listen to that. So it's very easy, and some people might be using it, and funnily many people use it in a different way. So I think listening to YouTube is like a very good time saver and also an interesting way to consume content, I guess. Then creating buckets of learning. This is the tip shared by one of the club members. You need to create buckets of learning. What is that like coming? What are the areas did you identify for yourself you want to learn about? It can be like productivity. It can be meditation. It can be email marketing. So you create content buckets, learning buckets for yourself, and try to see what are the sources, and then you plan your learning. So I think this is something very valuable. Then reading books is an interesting way to learn. I also like totally agree with this because reading books, we can actually uh, get a person's 20 years of worth of experience condensed into it. So reading books is one of the most underrated one, I guess, and we need to pick up. Recently also I'm trying to pick my reading habit back, but I'm not able to do it. So maybe I need to have some commitment for myself to read often. Then attending events to listen to speakers, because there are some events which are happening, and sometimes good speakers are invited to that event, and when this speaker speaks, uh, they bring with them the lifetime experience. So sometimes it's very condensed knowledge which we are getting. So maybe attending offline and online events both can be helpful, I guess. Then consume content not related to your niche, or consume content which you generally don't consume. That way what will happen is you'll start uh, thinking differently. New perspectives can come up, and there can be some intersections, maybe different things that can come. So try to consume content which you generally don't consume. Like, try to pick a book which is fiction, which you are not reading. Like, I don't read a lot of fiction, but maybe I can pick up a fiction book, maybe a comics, something like that. So we need to try to do consume content in a different thing. Like, we don't, like, I don't read mythological, I don't watch historical stuff. Maybe I can try to watch and see how does it actually uh, make a create a shift in my thinking process. Then community discussion, this is one of the things which is very focused, because when you participate in community discussions, you get very cream of the knowledge, and you also are able to listen, or get to learn from others experiences which you might not be thinking of. So community discussions are very very and right now in this age, and specifically for people who are in careers which are very dynamic, I think community discussions are highly underrated, I think. Then YouTube, obviously you can't avoid YouTube, but problem with YouTube is when you start watching, you may end up watching a lot of content which you don't want to watch. So YouTube, still you can't ignore YouTube, because YouTube is still a very good content discovery platform. You can discover different kinds of content, different very great amazing content there. So you need to, but ensure that maybe one of the community members was telling that you keep some time fixed for YouTube. Don't watch it for more than 40 minutes or something like that. That way you will be able to control yourself. Maybe that's a good tip, I guess. Then subscribing to newsletters is one of the very good options. So you subscribe to newsletters which you feel like you can get some value out of it, so better, that can be helpful to you a lot, so that you're only consuming content which matters to you the most. And if you don't find the newsletter interesting as you go, you can just unsubscribe. Similarly, yeah, I'll talk about that later. Then memberships, maybe just get a membership to be in a group of members who are actually trying to learn the same thing. Like, I joined a AI membership recently to pursue my learning for artificial intelligence. So now when you're in a membership, you're in a group of people who are actually trying to learn same things as you're learning. I think your learning gets accelerated, and you also get the motivation to do so. Then one final tip is following and unfollowing people is an interesting tip. Like, because sometimes we need to unfollow people who are not sharing the content like we expected. So like newsletters, or maybe YouTube, when you subscribe, so maybe that's the best way. Like, you think that this guy is valuable, you follow them, but when they're not delivering the content which is like, you're not liking the content anymore, just unsubscribe or unfollow, so that you have less garbage to handle. So these are the 14 points which have been discussed, not 14, sorry, 13 points which are actually valuable, and I think this will be helpful to you. If you like this video, you can support it by liking and subscribing. Thank you.